I think this is a video you guys are going to want to watch all the way through because there is some definitive and I think credible information out there, both from outside folks and people I've spoken to in the last, let's just call it 4 to 5 hours on Jim Harbaugh and the NFL. Everyone says, oh, Harbaugh doesn't even have an agent. Scam Webb told me he doesn't. We've got some information for you. Things have changed, and they have changed drastically when it comes to Jim Harbaugh's future. People say, hey, he's out doing his job. But look, somebody else might be doing the job for him when it comes to negotiating his next coaching contract. We're going to talk about that and a little bit more. Michigan, and we got a kind of a 50-50 battle right now for Jim Harbaugh's services with the Michigan football program and maybe somebody else. All coming up on the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports right now. We are presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Promo code GOBLUE. Get you 20% off and free shipping. Thanksgiving. Valentine's Day is coming up, folks. You do not want to have a jungle fever going on down there. It's just crazy. Clean it up there. Manscaped.com. Promo code GOBLUE. All right. What are we going to talk about here on today's show? The first story, very credible information. And it is really intriguing. We're talking about Jim Harbaugh's using an NFL agent to maybe secure a new job or potentially, get a little bit more what he wants from Michigan. Now, the second story we'll talk to is what's going on with this Michigan contract. People have been saying, no, I got sources that say this, say that. Well, this deal that's been on the table for a week and a half, why hasn't it been signed? Could the name, image, and likeness and use of Michigan's logo with NIL deals be the rift that is having Harbaugh look a little longer at the NFL? And then, here's the big one, right? So we're going to talk about this later in the show. Jim Harbaugh, he's only considering Michigan and blank an NFL team is what the word is out there right now as we are on it's like day 17 or something like that on the Harbaugh Watch. Bruce Feldman from Fox and The Athletic had some more information last night. We'll talk about it a little bit, but nothing too groundbreaking there. But before we jump into the story, I want to actually thank everyone who subscribed. As I mentioned, we hit 19,000 subscribers a week or so ago, and we are trying to get to 20,000. We've got the most subscribers on YouTube for any channel covering Michigan athletics, Michigan football in particular. So thanks to everyone who has subscribed, all 19,000 and a few hundred of you. If you're watching, and this isn't your first time, but let's say you watched in the past, you're watching again today, you haven't subscribed, let me know why. If we can do something to gain, it's a free subscription, so I don't want to say gain your business, but it certainly is a vote of confidence from a user of YouTube or a viewer that you would go ahead and subscribe. So if you haven't yet, just say, hey, James, if you did this, did that, or what's even a subscription? Just let me know in the comments. I'll get down there and see what you guys are thinking. But here's our top story, folks. Jim Harbaugh is using an NFL agent. We have, it was kind of been rumored out there for the last day or so, and there is some substantial and credible information that I want to make sure you guys know about. Harbaugh hasn't had an agent in 7 years since he left the 49ers, came to Michigan. But he is using a guy he has known for a long time. It's his brother, John Harbaugh's agent, Bryan Harlan, who is the brother of Kevin Harlan, the famed, was he an NBA announcer, right? Kevin Harlan. Their dad, former GM of the Packers way back in the day, like 25 plus years ago or something like that. Harlan and Jim were with the Bears together, Harlan being like the head of PR for the Bears when Jim was a rookie, and he was there all the way until the 2000 season. Funny enough, he actually had to resign under the shroud of scandal that he was making bets with like a local bookie while he was working for the Bears. Didn't get him like kicked out of the NFL for life or anything. He turned over to the agency world, and he's been an agent for the last 21 years. He is John Harbaugh's, Jim's brother, his agent, and Michigan has hired at least 3 coaches under Jim Harbaugh, assistant coaches, that have been represented by Harlan. So Jim Harbaugh, from knowing him back in 1985, 86, 87, when he came to the Bears, from his brother being representing him, and then also negotiating with him to hire a few assistant coaches. Most recently, Mo Linguist, who came from the Cowboys to Michigan and then on to Buffalo. That is a long-standing relationship. And I think, folks, that this is the missing info that we really haven't had over the past 2.5 weeks. It's like, well, Harbaugh's not talking to the NFL teams. No NFL teams are reporting it. None of their insiders have anything. There's no substantial information out there that there's a real thing. Jim Harbaugh's down in Florida. He's down in Alabama. Now he's going to be, yesterday, finished the day up in the Baltimore area, planning on being in the Northeast today and tomorrow. Well, he doesn't have to if he's just kind of, getting text, give me an update. Here's what the Raiders said, etc. If this guy, Kevin Harlan, is not officially his agent, but it's like, hey, Jim, I'm going to I'm going to protect you from saying, hey, Jim Harbaugh directly spoke to an NFL team like it was rumored he did with the Bears from a report we put out yesterday. And this guy can engage teams and be like, look, if Harbaugh does come to the NFL, I'm going to be the guy. I'll be his agent. So we'll talk. If you guys have a deal, Jim Harbaugh then will sign with me. It's what colleges do sometimes with these search firms. They don't want to talk to a coach directly, so they'll have a search firm talk to him. It's a way to kind of have plausible deniability. So at this point, knowing this information now that Jim Harbaugh does have an agent actively representing him in talks with NFL teams, I think it's 50-50 on whether Jim Harbaugh returns to Michigan in 2022. But I don't think it's like, I think it's a legit 50-50. Don't say 50-50 means like, oh my gosh, Yoder says he's gone. Oh, it's crazy. What's going to happen with Michigan and all this different stuff? So I think it's a legit 50-50. I do think Michigan's going to have a chance to, match or make a counteroffer if he does get an NFL deal that he would potentially consider accepting. We're going to talk about where that shakes out here in a second. But ask me this question. Will you guys be mad at Jim Harbaugh if he leaves Michigan? What do I mean by that? Oklahoma fans are mad at Lincoln Riley, right? They're big mad at Lincoln Riley for leaving and going to USC. Coaches, schools are mad all the time when their coach leaves for a different job. If Jim Harbaugh were to leave Michigan for a different job, would you still consider him, think about his playing days, think about beating Ohio State, or would be like, damn you, Harbaugh, you left us high and dry, you stretched us out, we missed out on all these different candidates Michigan could have talked to? I don't know, I'm kind of up in the air, so let me know. Well, if you'd be mad, type Y down in the comments. If not, type N. All right, take a look at this photo here, folks, right? Mark Schlissel, you guys all saw everything on Saturday night that transpired. We talked about it, I think, on Monday, Tuesday this week of the show. Mark Schlissel, does he watch our show? Because look at that email there. I'm going to have to – what does that say to me, Peterson? I'm too blind to even look at it. I'll pull up the photo here just so I can read it off for everybody if you can't see it. Screenshot of the leaked, released emails. If you see at the top, it says – that's the most recent one. I'm watching now. After I'm done, I'll put in a order for the Lawnmower 4.0. Thank me later. His Schlissel's woman, mistress, who knows what we're calling her, just watched James Yoder's Michigan Football Report. He recommended Manscaped for the issue we discussed. Promo code GoBlue gets you 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. So it leads right into this. Good transition. We are presented by Manscaped, so I thought I'd show you that photo. Manscaped.com, promo code GoBlue. Valentine's Day is coming up, folks. It's about 3.5 weeks or so away, and there is a lot of talk out there for the 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, to become National Shave Your Balls Day. I think every man, every woman can get behind that if you expect any activity going down on Thanksgiving evening, or hey, bright and early, and I said Thanksgiving again, Valentine's Day evening or Valentine's Day morning. You can get with the Lawnmower 4.0 or the Performance Package, which gives you some other products, ball toner and some deodorant, everything taken care of you down there. This is the one I use all the time. It is the Lawnmower 4.0, the one Mark Schlissel uses, Lawnmower 4.0. Go get started at Manscaped, manscaped.com, promo code GoBlue, free shipping, and 20% off your order. As Schlissel, go ahead and toss it up there. Producer Matthew, look, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true. Some people are saying, James, this looks doctored. Is this real? I don't know. Hey, look, I don't know what to tell you here. If it's on the internet, got to be true. Redacted emails talking about this show. Mark Schlissel, apparently a big fan of the Michigan Football Report. This is apparently where he gets his news on the program that he would refuse to go engage with or talk to during the 2020 season when with the pandemic and everything was going on. All right, a little name, image, likeness conversation here coming off that little Mark Schlissel fun. He's having an affair. Might as well get going with Manscaped. Get 20% off. Clean things up down below. But this is an interesting one. What's holding up the contract with Jim Harbaugh and Michigan? If it's not about money, if it's not about this, if it's not about that, well, I find this to be some credible information, is that Harbaugh wants Michigan players to be able to use the Michigan logo with their name, image, and likeness deals. Let me give you a quick example for that. Let's just say here at the Michigan Football Report, we launched the J.J. McCarthy Show on YouTube and on podcast, right? J.J. McCarthy might want to have the Michigan background instead of these kind of fake Michigan logos, the emoji ones, because, I don't have a deal with Michigan for that. And he might want to do that for whatever credibility. He might want to show up in his Michigan shirt. He might want to have a Michigan logo on his podcast artwork or his podcast logo or his YouTube logo or anything like that. Or just say, this is the official show of the Michigan football quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. They can't do that right now because they'd be treated like anybody else. Like, hey, we want money or we're going to sue you for using our logo. So Harbaugh wants to end the deal. Michigan, though, holding it up. They are not budging so far on logo use, and apparently Harbaugh is not happy about this and says it's going to put Michigan at a competitive disadvantage. Ohio State has already allowed this in some ways. I think they still have to go through a process. LSU is just giving their players full use. Use our logo wherever the heck you want. As long as you're a student athlete here, you can use our logo on anything you want with name, image, and likeness. So clearly, Michigan would be at a competitive disadvantage. I've been saying this. Look, if Michigan wants to be the leaders and best, right, then understand that these players are representing you. You're, providing for their education, their housing, etc. I think this is such a small sticking point. Go through a process still. Sure, if you want, hey, I want to use this logo for this reason, cool. But don't just have these arbitrary, archaic policies that don't make any sense anymore in the name, image, and likeness era. So as Michigan, you guys are the leaders and best or no? I don't know. I'm going to ask you guys to kind of just, let me know what you think on that. I think that Michigan should allow players, if they're on scholarship or whatever, maybe a small review, to use the Michigan logo as long as it, is in line with some sort of guideline, so it's not completely ridiculous to do. But that is the word on that, folks. That's a big sticking point apparently in the Harbaugh negotiations where they left off a couple Fridays ago. But I want you guys to help me. I said it yesterday on the show. Help me get to 8,000 followers. We're coming up on a milestone, so want to tap into the audience of this show. If you haven't followed me on Twitter yet, we got about 25 or 26 or something like that followers yesterday, so just need 11 more at 7,989. Would certainly appreciate it if you do. And look, I'm just tweeting mostly about Michigan or making fun of Ohio State, so it's a win-win for both of us. Last story here today, and I think number 1 and number 3 are probably the most intriguing because it's a lot of new information that's relevant on whether or not Harbaugh is going to be around. And Harbaugh is only considering Michigan and blank. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a second, but before we do, I want Jim Harbaugh to stay. I think I was misguided last year when I was very adamant that he should be relieved of his duties as the head coach. Hey, I'm admitting I'm wrong. That's why I'm just such a wonderful host of this show. I can admit when I'm wrong, unlike some others out there. So type stay if you want Jim Harbaugh to stay at Michigan. Be the coach. I just want to kind of take in what you guys are thinking. I've seen some people say, I don't even care if Harbaugh stays anymore. I just want this thing to be over. I even saw a guy on Twitter yesterday say, Michigan should fire Harbaugh for doing what? For doing what? He's under contract. He doesn't have to do anything. I think some people are getting ridiculous. So let me know where you stand on that. Stay. Hey, if you want him to go, then go ahead and type go as well. But it is Michigan versus the Raiders, according to everything, all the information that we have privy to, and some things that other people are saying as well. I want to give credit. There's some credible reports out there right now on Jim Harbaugh and his future. So talk about the pros and cons here really quick. Would Jim Harbaugh leave Michigan after this big 2021 season when he finally feels like he's got his team on a roll, the program he wants? And remember, he grew up in the Ann Arbor area, 4, 5, 6 years in the 70s, returned a couple years later, went out to high school in Palo Alto for 2 years, returned to be a Michigan quarterback for 5 years, and now he has been there 7 years. His parents moved there. They live next door to him. He's got 2 or 3 kids, maybe even 4 actually kids, with his youngest one in school in the Ann Arbor area, the same school that he went to as a kid as well. How about the Raiders, though? His wife, Sarah, she's from Kansas City. She moved there to Las Vegas after college. That's where they met in a P.F. Chang's parking lot when Harbaugh was out there for some coaching clinic. And then, Jim Harbaugh worked there. His first coaching job was with the Raiders right after his playing career. The QB coach for those 02-03 teams, the one year they went to the Super Bowl and faced the Buccaneers and lost. Will they give Jim Harbaugh full control all the way from player personnel, top to bottom? I think that's the sticking point here. And if the money's right, then he goes back to Michigan, probably use that leverage to get the name, image, and likeness transfer stuff that he has been hoping for. If Michigan caves, stays at Michigan. If Michigan does not cave on the name, image, and likeness thing in particular in the logo, I think maybe he takes this job here. So it's all starting to make sense for me. Everything that we just talked about in the show, I believe, helps me, and I hope you understand what's been transpiring the last 2.5 to 3 weeks with Jim Harbaugh. Told you yesterday, I can't remember the days anymore. Was it Thursday? So I think it was yesterday, that I believe one of the holdups potentially could be is that these NFL teams have to interview a certain amount of candidates, a certain amount of minority candidates, and they're going through that public process. If you follow the Raiders Twitter account, we've just finished our interview with this person, that person. They've got to do it. They can't just come out like a college could and say, boom, we're hiring this guy the day after our last guy leaves. So I think that's what's been transpiring. And now Jim Harbaugh, as it looks like, has the opportunity to figure out what the final offer is through this agent that he's been working with. And I think we'll know soon. Everything that's shaken out. At Chet Sports, we've got a Raiders show, a very popular Raiders show Also a very popular Chicago Bears show, so a lot of chatter around the office about what happens with this situation. The general consensus is the dominoes will start to fall in the next 2, 3, 4 days. If Jim Harbaugh is going to take this Raiders job, they'll have the opportunity to offer him a contract and see what happens there. And we should know above board, right? Everything still is rumors at this point, above board, whether or not he's staying at Michigan, whether he's going to take this Raiders job. So, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, got at least 3, maybe 4 days left of this, I think, but you never know. I kind of thought that a week ago as well. All right, we're gonna come back. If there's any breaking news on Friday, we'll talk about that. If not, I'll have a show for you tomorrow. We're gonna take your questions, a lot of them on the 2022 season, one of our mailbags coming up on Friday. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you tune in. It is the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. Until I see you guys tomorrow, go Blue.